According to CNBC, the cost of university in America is among the highest in the world. Over 44 million Americans hold a total of 1.4 trillion in debt, and most students rely on loans to pay for their school. Why have prices
I think
increased?
the prices in America are so much higher than the institution costs in other countries because America is capitalistic and everything is just becoming more expensive as the country in itself is becoming in more debt, and we have to find ways to tax other people to get ourselves out of that debt.
It costs so much in America because in America, well, everything's pretty much commercialized. In other countries like Europe, college is just basically school. So when you go to university in America, you get a lot of benefits for sure. You get like games, you get clubs, experiences, dorming, like you get a full experience in a way that other countries don't necessarily have.
Many students struggle once they graduate, and there are many people who don't complete their degrees. Is the benefit worth the price?
There's a lot of degrees that don't really mean anything. So sometimes people get degrees that they can never use, and we're just never told how to, one, plan what degree to get to be able to be successful in getting a job, but also we're not able to find what we need to in a good amount of time without wasting money in the process.
Being worth the cost really depend on the person and their type of drive that they have to implement what they learned in the outside world. It also kind of depends on your degree and how you choose to utilize it. A lot of people go to school, they get a degree, and then they find that they actually don't even like the career path they've chosen. So instead of just going back to school and redoing the whole process and forking out all this other money, they just directly change their career path then, which you could argue, why did you even go to college in the first place? So it really depends on the person and their drive. For me, for instance, I have been a student my whole life, and I don't know what I would do if I wasn't in school, and it's kind of becoming a student for so long kind of becomes part of your identity and just a part of security, so that also weighs in on whether or not you think it's worth it to pay that type of money.
Some students have to live on campus and pay for additional meal plans and dorm costs. Do loan amounts take into account these extra expenses? Alongside dorms, it's almost guaranteed that students will have to buy books. Can loans help cover that cost as well?
They don't take into consideration dorming or housing in general, unless you're dorming. But even then, they give you what they can give you, and the rest has to be put on credit loans and things like that. So you only get a certain amount of money, and then everything else is kind of just up to you and your parents on what you can afford. So I have to pay out of pocket for rent, for food, for utilities, on top of whatever I'm borrowing from the government to go to school.